and that we can attain that goal, particularly given the increases that we are making to the police force's strength levels. Second of all, the second reform that we put in place we're very proud of is we've gone much farther on civilianization than ever had been achieved before within the police department. We think that is a reform that was long overdue, and again, great cooperation from Commissioner Bratton and his team. We think those are two big structural changes that will have long-term positive fiscal impacts. A couple of very quick points. There was the mention on the overtime situation with the Corrections Department. That is an area of real concern for us. In the short term, given the many challenges at the Correction Department, which are well documented and which we are taking full responsibility for addressing, it will be hard to bring that number down. We are working intensely to increase the number of full-time officers and to better train and prepare them. And we think over time that will help us to reduce the overtime number. But I do want to be honest about the short term needing to keep that number high because we've got a lot of fixing of a lot of problems to do, particularly on Rikers Island. And finally, on the point related to the Retiree Health Benefits Trust, again, I think there's a lot of consensus here about the importance of the actions that we've taken and the importance of staying vigilant. I would add that on the healthcare savings, we not only believe that we could expand upon that number going forward, we intend to, and that's something actually at the time of the first major labor deal last spring, we said the goal here is that this is a floor, not a ceiling. We want to take that $3.4 billion in savings, try and surpass it within the time frame we're in now, and then build upon it in the years thereafter. We believe there's more savings where that came from, and we believe that in fact labor and management learning together how to achieve those savings in the long-term interest of all will open the door to even higher levels. And so clearly hearing the point, Mr. Levin, about the potential for always looking for ways to deepen the trust, clearly I know we all agree that's the two-part equation. Wherever we can deepen the savings, we're achieving the same goal, and we're actually bullish on the possibility for deepening the savings over time. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now call on Jeff Summer to report on the staff's recommendations concerning today's proposed resolution.
The determination that the board makes deals with reviewing 5 conditions that the original act was put in place to determine if any of those conditions have occurred and whether reimposition of a control period was required. Since 2008, the provision that called for an automatic control period expired, and what now exists is the board reviews the 5 conditions to determine whether there is any reason to request the state legislature to reimpose the control period. So I'd like to just run through the conditions briefly. The first condition is the city shall have incurred a deficit in excess of $100 million in the results of operation. The city has entered fiscal 2015 subject to the final audit with a surplus of almost $3.6 billion in its prepaid fiscal 2016 expenses. Number 2 is the city shall have failed to pay principal or interest on any of its notes or bonds when due and payable. 3 is the city shall have issued notes in violation of short-term borrowing restrictions set forth in Section 9B of the Act. And the 4th, which I'll read what the condition is and then explain it, is the controllers shall have jointly certified that they could not, on the basis of the facts existing at the time of such certification, make the joint certification required to terminate a control period. Briefly, that means the 2 controllers say there's sufficient market access for the city to sell its notes and bonds. The city has paid all principal and interest on its notes and bonds and has not violated any of the short-term borrowing provisions of the Act. I have also received letters from the state and city controllers informing me that they do not see any likelihood that they would have reason to issue a joint certification relating to market access. The last condition is the city shall have violated any provisions of the Act, and such violation substantially impairs the ability of the city to pay principal or interest on its bonds or notes when due and payable, or the city's ability to adopt or adhere to a balanced operating budget. The city has not violated any provisions of the Act. The staff therefore recommends that the board approve a resolution determining that as of August 4th, 2015, none of the events which would have required the imposition of a control period has occurred, nor is there a substantial likelihood and imminence of such occurrence, and that the city is not experiencing fiscal stress that would jeopardize the orderly functioning of the city's fiscal affairs.
Very good. Can I have a motion to approve the determination?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. I believe that is all of our business for today. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? All in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.